welcome to GBTV. I'm Christian Rawlings, along with my co-host Sophia Wainscott, Edith Wainscott, senior year. Now, we lost one of the quadruplets, Sean, to Purdue University, graduated early. Henry, who said he wasn't going to be involved in anything this year, and I see him everywhere. But we have the two of you here, so what's been going on this morning?
Well, actually, it's been a really chill morning with senior sunrise. I got to meet some of my seniors I haven't seen all summer.
Yeah, we had donuts, played games. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Now, senior year, hard to believe that we're here. But on the other end of the continuum, we do have an announcement for freshmen.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Jostens will be in the cafeteria this Friday, where you can talk about your class rings or ask any questions.
Yeah, really, any questions at all that you might have about Jostens. Yeah.
Like, how much bling can I get?
I mean, if it doesn't blind my haters, I don't want it.
Well, speaking of haters, we have a new roundabout, and despite what the Facebook naysayers said, it looked pretty smooth this morning.
That's right. Our first roundabout in Somerville, and it's right outside our school.
Yeah, truly a historic day. And, I mean, we have Aubrey Herkamp, who witnessed this event live this morning, so.
Let's go hear from her.
Yeah.
Hey team, the opening of the roundabout was a little like when Taylor Swift drops a new album. Chaotic, lots of social media talk, and some confused grandparents. But in the end, everyone made it to school safely.
That's great, Aubrey, and let's see how dismissal goes. And by the way, it's not an early release today.
Yeah, but speaking after school, there is a girls' golf meet that takes place today, or tomorrow, actually, at Mount Vernon. So, yeah, and actually, Mr. Rawlings saw this, like, the girls' golf.
I went out to the Pendleton preview on Monday. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I arrived late, so we had a faculty meeting, but I had a chance to stop in and see Hannah Stinger and Sophia Asher, have some, and Julie Garrison had some great approach shots. Their parents were there, so that was kind of fun. Had good Shelbyville representation. And then I went over and saw Maddie Jones and Maya Burgess had amazing drives. Enjoyed walking that hole with them. Now, at one point, I was by the fairway, and Mike Asher, which is Sophia's grandfather and the bus driver for the team, comes out and he said, "Riley Ever just got an eagle." And so, and then 2 minutes later, someone else comes down and says the same thing. So, had an opportunity to catch up with Riley and ask her about that rare feat.
Yeah.
Did you see it from where you're from? Did you know you got an eagle?
I could see it where it was from whenever I chipped it in. I was like 20 yards out, and it just went straight in the hole. No rolling on from the green, no bouncing on from the green. It was just straight in, as loud as it could be because it hit the flag. It sounded very, very, very loud. Everyone could hear it on all the holes.
It was awesome. It clanked off the flag stick, made a loud noise, and dropped right down to the hole.
Awesome. Doesn't happen very often. Professional golfers don't get eagles very often.
Coach, looks like we're off to a strong start Monday up in Pendleton. Can you talk about what the takeaways were from that?
Yeah, we were really happy with the performance we had. Kicking off our season with an 18-hole match was something that we were looking forward to. We kind of added that last year, and it's nice to get them out there, play 18 holes.
The head coach for the boys team, and just had your son Jake graduate.
Yes.
But here you are with the girls, and now you get to work with Julie. So that's kind of a unique experience.
Yes, it is. It's fun, exciting, it's fresh. It's like a new start.
Mount Vernon's always tough. They're in our conference here for the last year. They had a freshman that shot a 71 at the tournament, won the tournament, so they're pretty talented. But, you know, we go out there and try to stress, just work on what you need to work on. Don't worry about who you're playing against, and try to improve your score as we go throughout the season.
And speaking of drivers, if you're a student driver and need a parking pass, wait for the announcements from the front office. Hold on to your money and agreements until then.
Yeah, we actually have 2 more segments for today. So first, we have the Golden Bear Tik Tok, which is where we have a student video each day. And you can actually submit student TikToks and Instagrams by hashtagging Golden Bear Talk to submit your entry. And so, but we created one for you first to celebrate this first day of school.
Oh, we invite 'em, we're playing it. Hey, what are you saying? Look right in my eyes. First love, broke my heart for the first time, and I was like.
Our final feature today is Hall Pass, where we'll interview someone of interest. Today is with Dr. Vance. Dr. Rawlings, were you nervous interviewing the superintendent?
It is a little intimidating interviewing the boss's boss, but I felt it was important to go and ask the tough questions. If you could go back to your high school as it was when you graduated and go into the cafeteria, What box would you take out of to-go items? What would be in that box?
Well, I'm kind of ashamed to say, but when I was a kid growing up, like a lot of our students sometimes, I might not have liked some of the food that was best for me. So when I was a kid growing up in Rushville High School back in the day, the French fries were like one of the most common things you'd buy on the a la carte line, or items you'd buy on the a la carte line. So, and they always had this melted cheese you could get with it. So I just remember getting French fries and melted cheese, and that was like a big thing.
I think the nutritional guidelines.
Yes, that's right. And it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. That's right.
Now, know, of course, that you coached here a little bit years ago, and students, you can't ask Mr. Eldridge what year that was.
Yeah, that's right.
Unfair.
Yes.
But given, from that role to now leading an entire district, how has your journey shaped your approach to leadership?
Well, that's a great point. I often say that my career started here at Shelbyville High School, as you just alluded to. Back when I was in college, I was very privileged, had the opportunity and honored to coach here football while I was in college. And like I said, so we're going back 34 years ago. So we can kind of put some numbers together there. But I was a college student, and I was lucky, and so had the opportunity to work with great people here. You mentioned Mr. Eldridge, who still, of course, teaches science here. He and I were freshman football coaches. And but a couple of those years I was here, Mr. Parks was on the staff, Mr. Hearn, who's still around a lot. Mr. Olinger was the head coach, and I was lucky to be around great people, great men, great educators, great coaches as a college student that really helped shape me. And I often say this is where it started. This is where I got my first paycheck from a school, because I was paid as a college kid to coach here. And so Shelbyville High School has always had a special place in my heart for that simple reason. Back in the 90s, when I became a teacher, teaching jobs were hard to get. It was a different age than it is now. And I was a social studies teacher, and social studies positions were very hard to come by. And so I'm convinced that my experience I had here with coaching, and just the fact that I was around great people who helped mold me, and they were very good role models for me as a 19-year-old college kid. I've always been very appreciative of that, and I've never forgotten that.
I've read your dissertation.
Yeah.
You have a PhD in leadership, and it deals with high-level conversations between school board members and school administrators. But we have a group of new freshmen here in the building. What's a leadership lesson that you think current students could take home now?
Well, first off, I'm impressed to know someone's read my dissertation. And you must, I don't know, maybe it put you to sleep a couple nights. I don't know, but appreciate knowing that. So that's always good to know. I love leadership. I love talking about leadership. I read a lot of leadership books. I'm always studying, having conversations on it. And I think probably the most important thing to remember about leadership, a couple things. Number one, I think it's important to know that when you are willing to step up and take a leadership role, you're taking a huge responsibility, and you're going to lead people, and you're going to influence people. That's what leadership is. And you have to be willing to do that. And sometimes it's not always going to be the most positive. Sometimes you have to make some difficult decisions. And so you have to have thick skin, so to speak, and you have to be ready to step up and lead. Along with that, I think even today, but I think it's always been the case, but I think it's even more important today, you have to be a servant leader. You have to care about the people you lead. And I think that's vital. I just think that's so important when we talk about leadership, to bring in that servant piece, and that's what you're doing. You're caring about people, you're leading people, and you're going to do what you can to help. And I think that's very important. I often go back to a principle I heard many years ago when I was in some classes about leadership, and it was the 90-10 rule. And I talk about the 90-10 rule quite a bit. But leadership's 90% personal skills. If you don't have good people skills, if you can't build relationships, if you don't care about people, that's the 90%. The 10% is the technical skills. A lot of the jobs we do as leaders, people can learn. A lot of the paperwork, a lot of those kind of things. A lot of that's not difficult. It takes time, it takes some thinking, but you can learn it. You can't learn the 90%. Either you have it or you don't. People skills, relationship building, caring, that whole 90% piece, I think of that to me is vital. And I think when you think about leadership and you consider leadership roles, to me, that's what you have to look at first. I want people on my team that they're going to fit that mold. They're going to care about people. They're going to be hard workers. They're going to be relationship builders. I think that's so important when you look at leadership, and I think it's even changed as the years have gone on.